I am Dale Perryman, and I'm responding to comments recently made by Tom Sosnoff on his April 21st episode of Confirm and Send. Tom is a respected voice in the options community, and I respect the decades of experience he and Tony Batista bring to the table. That said, his interpretation of my trade and what happened to me was not just wrong, it mischaracterized both my actions and the facts and was a hurtful assessment. Claim one, here's a list of Sosnoff's claims. Claim one, that something was wrong. He didn't believe the story for a minute. Claim two, that I put in an order a long way from the market. And claim three was an analogy that he used to credit to a bank account. I believe he said, you don't get to keep the money. And the subtext was that Perryman didn't understand. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Tom, you're a busy guy and you might have missed some of the salient details. In the remainder of this video, I'll walk through the timing and accounting of the trade and will then provide some closing remarks. A high-level timing of the trade on April 9th, SPX had an unprecedented up move of 350 points, as you can see from the middle of this chart. The trade under review occurred in this 10-minute window. The odds of this up move occurring are about the equivalent of being struck by lightning. The last time I saw a move like this was Black Monday in 1987. So let me walk you through the details of the trade. First, at 10:30 a.m. Central, I sold a 10-lot SPX. 5165 short, 5200 long call. It's typically called a short call credit spread. It was a defined risk trade executed through Schwab's platform. The platform accepted the order, confirmed the fill, and credited the funds. At this point, everything looked routine, standard trade, clean execution. Second, immediately after that first order was placed, it immediately places a standing order to close all 10 short contracts. So what I mean by a standing order, it just sits out there waiting for somebody to take it. At 12:19, third, 4 out of those 10 shorts filled. So it was a buy to close order. At 12:28, I closed the remaining 6 short calls manually. That was the time when the market was just going crazy. And at 12:29, 1 minute later, fifth, I closed the 10 longs at a strike of 5,200. Now here's the key. While I now realize that the original bill likely involved a pricing error, which the CBOE should have never let fill, I had no reason to believe that at the time. I was scrambling. It's like the Titanic. Everything appeared normal on Schwab's platform. Nothing was flagged, no error messages, no notices, no warnings, just a filled spread and a routine close. And this part is critical. Sixth, I was not informed of the busted leg until the following day at 8:35 a.m. By then, the trade was long over. If I had been notified promptly, I could have closed the trade immediately to limit risk. I could have kept the long legs as a defined position or avoided closing the short legs at extreme prices. Instead, I acted based on what Schwab's system told me. Shouldn't I? That my risk was defined and my spread was intact. So let me walk you through what actually happened. At 10:30 a.m. Central Time, I had sold a 10-lot SPX short call spread for $2.40 credit, collecting $2,400. So what we're starting now is really the accounting. It was a defined risk trade executed through Schwab's platform. The platform accepted the order, confirmed the fill, and credited the funds. Later, I had a resting profit-taking order to close all 10 contracts at $1.20. 4 out of 10 of them filled. That means I paid $480 to close those contracts, reducing my net credit to $1,920. At this point, everything looked routine, standard trade, clean execution, and 9 minutes later, I closed the remaining 6 short calls manually, paying $153.50 each. That cost me $92,100. So now my cumulative loss was $90,180. But I still held the 10 long 5130 calls, which I sold 1 minute later for $91.30 each, collecting $91,300. When you do the math, it's $1,120 net gain. So Tom's claim that I somehow tried to keep $117,000 profit is just false. The total realized gain was $1,120. That's it. So Tom's comparison that this is like a bank accidentally depositing $100,000 and someone trying to spend it simply doesn't apply. There was no windfall. There was no intent to deceive. I followed normal trade management protocol based on what the broker and platform presented to me. If anything, the real issue here is platform and exchange communication failure. A trader should never be left holding risk after a trade is filled, confirmed, and closed. You should be able to believe what you see on your platform. What you see is what you get. So a trader should never be left holding risk after a trade is filled, confirmed, and closed, only to find out later that part of the trade was voided without their knowledge. This isn't about entitlement. It's about fairness, transparency, and accountability from both the broker and the exchange. If platforms expect traders to trust the system, they need to uphold their end of that trust and inform traders immediately when something is wrong. Tom, if you're open to it, I'd welcome a conversation. Let's talk about how we protect traders, not just from bad trades, but from broken processes. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about one fill. It's about trust and the integrity of the systems we all rely on. Thanks for listening.